Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 189 and we have a good one for you today. Today's fish is one of those fish that some people have known about, some people don't know about it, but regardless it is such a cool fish. So cool, and probably a fish that fans of Shark Week have seen. Today's fish that we're going to be talking about is BAM! The zebra shark. Now, the zebra shark, or scientific name Stegostoma tigrinum, and again, that's Stegostoma tigrinum, it is part of the family Stegostomatidae. And like other fish that we've talked about, where that name the scientific name and the family name sound almost exactly the same, it is the only species of the family, meaning that this is truly a unique shark among a bunch of sharks that are just usually unique. Now, the zebra shark is native to the Indo-Pacific Ocean, so all around the coastlines of India, going up the coastline of the of Eastern Asia, all of that traditional Indo-Pacific Ocean. And like many fish found in that area, they're primarily found in and around coral reefs and sandy flats. Now, this fish can be found from the shallows to a depth of about 62 meters, which is about 203 feet. I feel that these are more predominantly found in that 10-meter range, so about 30 feet depth. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're more common and a little bit shallower. Now, this is a medium-sized shark, as I like to call this. They will reach or attain a length of about 2.5 meters, which is 8.2 feet. There are some records of them getting up to 11 feet, which would be like 3.1 meters. But every one of those has just been completely unsubstantiated. So fairly common to say that they're 2.58 feet long. Now, it has this cylindrical body. It's a little hard to tell from this angle, but it has this cylindrical body. It's a little easier to tell here. With this large, rounded head, but a very short, blunt snout. You can tell how it's really short and just blunt, almost like a bulldog is how I'd say. Just real bulldogish sort of face. Not quite, obviously, but a shorter snout than a lot of people think. These very small eyes. You can see here, even this up close, it's very small. And the nostrils have this barbel, you can tell right here, which remember are sensory organs that fish use to find prey. And you can't really see it on this picture. You can kind of see it a little bit here, but it has a groove running from the nostril all the way to the mouth. And that's fairly common. Other than that, it's not really unique in terms of like fin shape. It's got your, normal two dorsal fins. It does have a kind of an abnormally long and large caudal fin. A lot of times I saw a lot of people saying that the caudal fin will reach the same length as the body, meaning that half their length, so that 8.2 feet, 4 feet of it is just the tail fin. Which is kind of large. Not necessarily that unheard of, but kind of large. But one unique characteristic of this fish is actually these ridges. I hope you've been seeing these in these pictures. You're like, wow, those look like folds of skin. And those are actual ridges. There's 5 of them. They have 2 on each side and then 1 right up the dorsal midline. And that's a very unique feature to the zebra shark. It's I don't even know what you would call these. I can't figure out what they'd be used for. If they're used for body strength or something, I don't know. But it's really bizarre to have these ridges. And they are noticeable. Like, I'm hoping you can tell. These are just noticeable. You can see right here. Boom, boom, boom. Very large, noticeable ridges. Now, in terms of color patterns, adults are going to have a very spotted pattern over here. Spotted, things like that. You can even see here, spotted. They're on this light tan background with a whitish belly, like very much. That's why they have another common name called the leopard shark. Now, if you noticed, I said adults. And you might be thinking to yourself, wait, zebra shark? This doesn't look like a zebra at all. Well, that is because juveniles actually have a complete different color pattern. Very different. It's so dark in color with these white stripes. This looks like a zebra, but this is the same species as the zebra shark. And they're so different that this fish was known for almost 100 years before they realized, oh, it's actually the same species. They thought they were completely separate species. And we've talked about things like that before, but it's a little it's a little more common for sharks for this to happen. Really, really interesting tidbit. Really interesting tidbit. Something else about this fish, it is heavily nocturnal. Even though this is a dark one. During the day, they just rest on the sea bottom, usually propping themselves up with the pectoral fins facing the current so that they have water continually going over their gills. Now they do have teeth, obviously, you can tell right here. But it's not really a large mouth. They're using their mouth actually more as like a suction mechanism, because even though I call them a medium-sized shark, their cylindrical body actually means they're pretty lithe and agile. And at night, they're very, very active and actually fairly strong and agile swimmers. And they use their body getting into small cracks and crevices and caverns, which is where a lot of organisms go at night to stay. And they'll actually just suck things out of those caves and caverns for food. And it's not just things that move. They actually feed a lot, predominantly on mollusks from what I've seen. They will eat other things such as crustaceans, small bony fishes, even sea snakes. These fish will eat almost anything. They are omnivorous. You can see here's a good picture of them just kind of propped up on the bottom. They just rest during the day. They are not mobile. Now, for the interesting fact we're going to end the video on, it's actually on their reproduction. These are an oviparous species, meaning they lay eggs. They usually lay eggs in sections of, I think, little clusters of 4 over the course of multiple days. But that's not the interesting part. There have been 2 reports of female zebra sharks producing young asexually. And then an additional study observed it as well. This is a term that the scientific community calls parthenogenesis. And parthenogenesis is a phenomenon that's basically a virgin birth. Unfertilized eggs develop into a genetically unique embryo without any male involvement. Now, parthenogenesis is not cloning. There are some species of animal out there that do a parthenogenesis, but it's a cloning thing. This actually makes a complete unique individual. A clone would not be a unique, it'd be a direct copy of its maternal parent. So that's really bizarre. And in fact, only 80 known vertebrates, I think, well, not only 80, but there's not many over 80 vertebrate species that are known to reproduce using parthenogenesis. But it's very, very rare in complex vertebrates, such as sharks. And that's the thing, is that the females have been documented. The females were never mated, and they went through parthenogenesis. Then there was actually a report that one had done this, even though it had previously reproduced with a male. And that's really the interesting thing about me. So in terms of cloning, there's a lizard in the state of Texas that does direct cloning, meaning that every lizard's almost a genetic copy of itself. Parthenogenesis is usually done by species that are very heavily predominated by females and not by males. And there's often times where they're doing it and it's the part about being with males. More often than not, they do it because they have never reproduced with a male of their species. For one to do it that has actually already reproduced with another male, meaning it had gone through that. Which does beg the question, and I'm trusting the reporting of this study that I read about it, was did it actually exhibit parthenogenesis, or is this an example of a fish storing sperm, which we've talked about before? Many fish will actually store the sperm of males during reproduction to allow themselves to reproduce without there. Now, I'm trusting that this was actually a true form of parthenogenesis, not any sort of sperm storage. But that's still, those are the things you need to think of. But it's still bizarre to me that parthenogenesis it's an amazing adaptation to allow a species to continue to survive. And trust me, this fish does kind of need it. It is listed as endangered by the IUCN, but it does get fed on by other sharks, but its predominant way that it perishes is actually by humans. This fish is heavily collected in the shark trade for the stuff like shark fin soup and things like that. So this fish is in trouble. But it gives me hopes that maybe this fish can hold on a little bit longer because they're able to exhibit this parthenogenesis. Because more often than not, it's much more common in the animal world than we think whenever we exhibit something in a lab that might be sort of novel. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do, I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated. Regardless, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and peace.